Empowering women and changing the lives of women seems to be a motto that's absolutely unusual, but not with Women for Women International, who have the motto as Women, Empowering Women and Changing Lives. My guest today is Now you've seen the guest, the taste of the pudding, they say, is in the eating. Welcome to Prime Woman, Buki.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
What spurred you to who you are and what you're doing and why you're doing it?
That's a deep question for me. I would start with how did I get into this space? Looking at my life, I really didn't have anything to do with women. At the early stage of my life, it was more the normal things: go to school, graduate, get a job. I would say that my very first opportunity to work with women came during my youth service in Enugu State. And I had the opportunity to work with UNDP in collaboration with the State Economic Planning Commission, where I was posted to. And we had a lot to do with women's rights organizations in Enugu State. And I would say that was what birthed me into that. But again, I will let you know that after youth service, it was not a thing for me. That experience in itself was neither here nor there. Then I went on my professional journey. Why? Because I'm an accountant by profession, a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. And on that journey, I got married, moved to Enugu permanently, and here it was. I just didn't want to stay home idle. And there was just this opportunity that came. I decided to take it. And I would say the rest is history.
You've been with Women for Women for 20 years and counting.
That was February 12, 2001.
You have had to do service as country director, and you've been in advocacy. What are the challenges that you get to find in advocacy, and what are the quick wins, especially as it touches women?
My journey in advocacy, it's quite huge, but a lot of it happens at the very grassroots, at the grassroots where we work. It would interest you to know that in the work that I do, I work with the most marginalized women in conflict-affected locations around the country. And I would also like to paint the right picture of what that looks like. You would agree with me that at community level, in a lot of places, life is hard. Talk about water, talk about electricity, talk about schools, just mention it, life is hard. And on top of that, you have issues of conflict. Now you have women at the center of all of that. They've lost out in education, they don't have life skills, they're mostly farmers, and those are the kind of women that we love to work with at Women for Women. And what we do with women in that space is to educate, expose, and at the end of the day, the thousands of women that we work with come out strong, they come out confident, they come out ready to advocate for themselves. The truth, we guide them. They do the advocacy. at community level. I'll give you an example.
Well, how do you say they do the advocacy?
Yes, I'm getting to that. I'll give you an example. In one of the communities, let's talk about female genital mutilation. And the women got educated. They got the understanding of the risk around female genital mutilation. They organized themselves. They moved to the chiefs. In the community, they educated the chiefs. They explained the risk. They expressed their concerns to the chiefs. And then, with that understanding, the chief, he passed more like, he gave a directive, called all the traditional people that do that, in the same light, educated them, and told them that moving forward, this must stop.
And it did stop.
And it did stop. So those are the kind of advocacy that we do. In the same light, there are so many examples that I could give you, but that is just one that is top on my mind. And I think it speaks loudly to a lot of, when you talk about gender-based violence, it speaks to what we are celebrating, the 16 days of activism, speaking against gender-based violence. We joined the global community to amplify issues around gender-based violence with all of our women. And on an annual basis, we have like 3,000, 4,000 women that we work with across Nigeria.
Because you were talking about educating the rural women. What about the urban women?
The way I would love to answer that question, as Women for Women International, we have a calling, we have a mission, and we're so determined to reach that calling or to achieve that calling, and it speaks to women, not just rural women, women in conflict, women in post-conflict situation. So those are our target audience. You would agree with me that in the cities, in the town, in the urban places, there are a lot of activities going on. But when you speak to women in conflict, some people have activities, but not the kind that we run. 12 months of training, 12 months of engagement. When a woman or when we enroll women into our program for the next 12 months, she's our responsibility. We are training on health, we are training on rights, we are training on valuing ourselves as a woman. We're training on solidarity, the importance of women coming together to make their voice heard, coming together to make changes in their communities, coming together to make a statement that they are humans and their lives are also important and they should be valued.
Is there any age bracket? Because I look at women from every strata. For instance, we have young ladies who are coming up. Are they part of this?
Ordinarily, until very recently, we would work with between 18 and 50. But in the last, I think like 2 years ago, we did a study in about 2-3 communities, and what I found in that study was heartbreaking. What do I mean? For adolescent girls that are below 18, talking about girls that are adolescent girls, that brackets, below 18, they had seen life from the report that I got after the study. They had seen life in all shades of negative. And I'll describe one for you. So you have a young girl that has probably been raped. Now she's married by force, and now she's in a family that does not want her.
And she does not want, probably.
And she does not want, but she does not have a choice. And then she has a kid who is not well taken care of. Some of them are pregnant, and there's nowhere to go. Their parents don't want them because they feel they've done this big wrong thing, and whoever impregnated them, known or unknown, is how the street living his life.
That brings me to a very pertinent question. What do we mean unwanted pregnancy? Especially when it touches children who have been raped.
After that finding, now we had also a pilot for about 50 girls. And in that journey, I think about 6 to 8 of them got pregnant. It will look like nothing wrong with that pregnancy, but then that journey in itself is already traumatizing for that young lady. I remember there was one that confided in her facilitator that she was going to commit suicide. It's that serious. Yes, it's that serious. And would you blame her? Where is the hope? Where can she go to get help?
What happens to family?
I just said it. She already committed it's like an abomination. If we go that direction, we will not leave this place, believe you me, because there's a lot going on in that space. And I think it's important when the girls are not in school, they don't have skills, they're just on the streets, then it's a problem in itself because then they are exposed. What we have done in Women for Women with the adolescent girls that we enrolled in the program is to engage them. So they have the knowledge, they also have vocational skills training so that they are skilled. They can do things with their hands. We had some of them learn baking so they can make cakes for birthdays, they can make cake for anniversaries. We have some of them learn makeup things. So they make up for their friends when there's an occasion. They make people beautiful. And then we have some of them doing hairdressing.
Where's the role of parenting in all of this? And what is the role of Women for Women in advocating for a parenting strategy that will see to the fact that these young girls toe the right path in life and get it right?
There's a lot going on in our communities. I think earlier this year we were advocating for pad banks, sanitary pad banks in communities. And we started with Plateau State actually, but in Bauchi State I can tell you that they passed the bill. So they should be having pad banks in schools and public places. Why? Because we discovered that what women use, I don't want to talk about it here, during their monthly cycle, it's unbelievable, very unbelievable, yes. With that knowledge, we then took some women to, they now make reusable sanitary pads. The disposable sanitary pads, too expensive, not affordable. That is the truth. You know, we ran a campaign on tax sanitary pad. That is also ongoing so that the sanitary pads can be affordable for all women. That is the disposable one. But in the meantime, we still need to use something decent. It's God. That's the way God made women. It's a monthly thing. We have no choice. It's not going anywhere. So, yeah, we go that length in advocacy when we have to.
Who actually is Bukola Onyishi?
Okay, who am I? Bukola Onyishi, you know the name. The name is Yoruba born. I've traveled in this country because my birth was in Ogun State. My parents are... Probably my dad will be watching this at some point, whatever it is. Okay, and he's Molasing, Alaji, Debola Basira Shafa, and my mom is Rachel Yeladun Ashafa. My parents they were civil servants, and I'm number 2 of 7 children. Everybody doing well in their spaces, a family that, if you're sensitive, you will hear me say Alaji, and I'll tell you that Rachel also should pass, should send a message. I would say that in my family, we grew with a lot of love, regardless of religion. And I think what is dividing us in the nation along the religious line should never be. In my home, we had that, and we all grew up in so much love, I must say. Yes, primary school, secondary school, university, Great Ife, I mentioned ICANN before, a lot of studies here and there. And with this job, I think it brought out the humanity in me. It's not something I dreamt about. I would say it's a calling God brought out of me. From the very first day I stepped into this organization, today you know us, then we were very small. It's been a journey that I have no regrets on. It's been a journey that has been very fulfilling, and I'll tell you why. Because you work with real people. You see your results therein. I've done this for 25 years, over 100,000 women, and 100,000 women with real results. We had one of them come into Abuja, and she shared a story that we didn't even know of, because she's a graduate of like 6 years ago or something, and today she's a politician, she wants to be a leader, and she's doing that in her community, advocating for peace between the herders and farmers in her community in Riyom local government of Plateau State. And all across where we have our women, they're doing great things. They're making changes. And one of the things that's this year, I would say, one of our proudest moments when we see that the women that we train in this program, they value it so much, they want to share it with everybody in the community. They want to share it with women that we've not been able to work with. We also have communities come to us that we've not worked in to say, you worked in that community, it's obvious. Something is different. We see the difference. We want you in our community. But we are limited. We can only do so much with limited resources. So, yeah.
Coming to that limited resources, is this project limited to the northern part of Nigeria, or do...
Thank God I have a program in Cross River.
Yes, because you've been talking about Riyom in Plateau State and all of that in the north.
But
and
I
then
did say
so
that we started
you
in
started
Enugu
it,
State.
yes, in Enugu State.
So we're in Plateau State, we're in Bauchi State, we're in Kaduna State, Cross River State, we have a leg in Benue, and one thing you will see in common in all of them is conflict.
So where you started in Enugu State, so what has happened to the Enugu State arm?
For the Enugu program, we had to close and move to nearer to where the problems are. So that's the only reason. But in Enugu State, we were there for 16 years. From 2000 to 2016, we worked in Enugu State. I can tell you that I know Enugu like the back of my hand, because it's not the city, I'm talking about the rural
hinterlands.
Yes.
You know, there was a change in baton, you know, in the project.
I'm excited that we have, as International Chief Executive Officer to be a Nigerian, Thelma Akio. I'm so excited to have her on board. And I know that she's definitely seen beyond Nigeria. The organization itself is in about 16, 17 countries. She has a lot of work, but I'm rooting for her. I know she will do well. Naija no dey carry last.
Naija no dey carry last. In all of this that you are doing as a woman, family, how do you cope?
At different stages in life, different things happen. Right now, my kids are grown. My second born and last born is a graduate. He just graduated, and my husband is doing his thing. I'm doing mine, and we have time to come together as a family, at least from time to time in the year. But you know, it's important also. I think it was just recently I was telling somebody that I wear different hats. and I know when to drop one, when to wear one, and sync them. And I think that is what is important, instead of just wearing just one and sticking to one. It's good to wear at different times. For a woman, you have many roles and responsibility. I'm still a daughter.
How is Women for Women advocating and mediating between the hurt and government to find that we would be able to say, oh, women have a respite?
As you were talking, my mind goes to one of our program participants who, in the dead of one night, lost her husband, lost 2 kids. She was shot at, and she woke up in the hospital. She had a baby that she had on her back. Luckily, that baby survived, and she joined our program in that state. Is she hot? Yes, she's hot. But you see, the coming together of the way our program is structured in itself is very therapeutic for the women, because women come from different spaces. They are speaking of what has happened to them. They're able to share. Very therapeutic, I must say. And this woman, when she had the opportunity, instead of fighting, all she said was, look, they needed to come together for peace to reign in the... She's been hurt. She lost family members. She lost her life. She lost her home. Her house was burnt down. So she lost a whole lot. But she was one of the people, after going through the program, that she, coming together with some of the women in the community, that they must advocate for peace. So what we do as Women for Women is to guide them in that journey. Advocacy is at different level. At that level, we help them so that when Women for Women leaves, there's no community will work and stay forever. When Women for Women leaves a community, we know we have ambassadors there. We know that the women will continue to advocate for issues, whether it's light, whether it's environment, whatever it is, they find, whether it's gender-based violence, whatever it is they identify, they must be able to identify the problem in the first instance. So, for example, again, I remember reading a study that we did. At that level, some people don't even see violence as violence because they think that's what they know, that's what they've been taught. So a woman would say, answering some of her questions, if I burn food, it's violence. And my husband beats me, it's not violence. Yes. So, that in itself is a journey. But going back to the story of this lady, they were able to bring the herders and the farmers together. We were in that meeting. You can feel the tension in that hall when everybody was arriving because they don't sit, they don't meet. But then history has it that they lived in the community together. So what happened? What changed? Conflict happened. People were hurt. People died. And this lady leading the group of women, she lost a whole lot. Her husband died there. She lost 2 kids. And she's not alone. But that journey started. And today in that community, I won't say that it's zero conflict, but it's minimized. When they sit in a Stronger Women, Stronger Nations 12 months program, and for me, I'll say it's another form of school. It's not the standard schooling system, but it's a life skill that every woman should have.
So what do you do for relaxation?
We're going to that season. I love to travel. I love to spend time with family. I love to do my things with God. God is the center of what I do also. Because I also see it as a responsibility. You have thousands of lives that you're leading. You've got to be spiritual. I am. I don't take that lightly because it's also deep for me. What if something goes wrong? What if we go into a community and something happens? Yes, we do a bit physically, but we need the supreme almighty God.
They say, right? Yeah. So for your children, in your line of work, how do they feel, and how do you eventually get to connect with them? Do they want to do what you're doing? Do they want to do what you're doing, for instance?
It has deep meaning. What I do, it does have deep meaning. They see it. When they can, they want to help too. Yes, they want to help. I know my first son some months ago wanted me. He actually took his pay and said, "Mommy, I want to do this for anybody that needs it." And I found help for him. I mean, I found somebody that needed the help, and he did. Because it's real. Let everybody do what they can to help the next person. I think it makes life easier, and it puts smiles on people's faces.
If anyone wants to, for instance, reach out to Women for Women, where do we go to? Do we have to travel all the way to Jos?
No,
people
not this digital age.
I know, right?
Not this digital age. You can learn more about us on womenforwomen.org. Of course, the www.womenforwomen.org, and then on the different social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram.
You have your handles, right?
Yes, we do. For the Nigeria, it's WFW Nigeria. International is Women for Women. And you will find us.
It's been Prime Woman on the Nigerian Television Authority. My name is Uju Mwakalo. See you next time.